So hello my dear friends, welcome back. Welcome to your channel Cooking Astrology. First of all, I would like to thank all of you for subscribing my channel and liking my videos. Thanks a lot. So let's continue our journey, our discussion of money and wealth for all 12 ascendants in Vedic astrology. And in this particular video, let's try to understand the Sagittarius ascendant. Okay. Now look here, you will see the astrological chart up there. If the 9 number is written in this box, this is the first house. It means you are a Sagittarius rising or Sagittarius ascendant, or your first house is ruled by the sign of Sagittarius. So this is a complete video which will help us to determine all the topics of the money and wealth. And I'm going to cover all the details first of all with regards to the money and wealth houses. Okay, 11th, 12th and 2nd house. So these are the money and wealth houses. We will discuss that part here. Next, we are going to be discussing the 5th, 7th and 9th house and how these houses are acting as a supporting structure to the upper houses, that are the money and wealth houses. Next, we are also going to be discussing the impact of Rahu and Ketu axis. Okay, so how Rahu and Ketu is going to be creating impact in all the two areas which I have mentioned above. Next, we are going to be discussing the Gati of a planets. Okay, now this is one of the most interesting topics of Vedic astrology. Gati simply means the speed of a graha. Okay, so there are certain fast moving planets in Vedic astrology and there are certain slow moving planets. So how the combination of certain fast moving and slow moving planets have the capacity to create impact in your earning, expenses, investment and even the savings part. So we will cover up this topic in more detail. Next, we will also look into the retrograde planets. Okay, what if the certain planets are retrograde? So how retrogression is going to be creating impact into the money and wealth analysis. Then we will discuss the combust planets also. And last is the timings part. Timings mean when you are going to be receiving the money and wealth, or if certain yogas of money and wealth is present in your horoscope. So when that yogas will eventually going to be manifested in your life. So we will discuss it into the timings. So these are the content which I'm going to be discussing here. I humbly request all of you to please watch this video till end and don't skip it. Okay, otherwise you are going to be missing some of the important topics which I'm going to be discussing, because every topic is going to be dependent over one another. So it's going to be a combined video and I request you to watch this video till end. This is also the video which I'm just making for learning purpose. So if you are a beginner in the field of Jyotish or Vedic astrology, or maybe if you are advanced level astrologer, this video is going to be adding value specifically into your life. Okay, so let's first of all start with the Sagittarius. Now you see, this is a astrological birth chart and these are the houses basically. First house, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th. So these are the 12 houses. Okay, these boxes specifically. The numbers which are written up there, these are the zodiac signs. Okay, so if the 9th number is written, 9th means the sign of Sagittarius. Similarly, 10th is Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. So in this way you can look into your chart. First of all, you need to pay attention towards your 11th house, 12th house and 2nd house. Now this is the 11th house where the 7 number is written. Now 7 is Libra, which is ruled by planet Venus. So I have written a VE. It's a short form of the planet. This is the 12th house where 8 number is written and it's ruled by MA, that is planet Mars. And next is your 2nd house, which is ruled by planet Saturn with the sign of Capricorn. So in your horoscope, these three, 11th house, 12th house and 2nd house, these are the money and wealth houses. Now first of all, let's try to understand what each house represent here. In this way, you will be able to gain more deeper insights into the money and wealth part. This one, 11th house in Vedic astrology is the house of your incoming gains. So whatever money that you are going to be receiving on monthly or daily basis, that is seen through 11th house. If you are doing some sort of a job, so whatever the monthly paycheck that you are receiving after the complete 1 month, it's also seen through this house. On the other hand, if you are a business person where daily transactions are involved, business transactions, it's seen through 11th house. 11th house also represents your earning potential. Like if you want to see whether you have the capacity to earn 100,000, 500,000, 1 million, 10 million, or even $1 billion, that is also seen through 11th house. And 11th house also represents your income sources. Like if you want to see whether you have the capacity to have more than one income stream in your life or not, so 11th house is going to give us the answer. So this is one of the most important houses in Vedic astrology. It means planet Venus is very important for you people. Okay. Next is the 12th house. Now 12th house is basically the house of your expenditure. Whatever your monthly or your daily expenses, it's seen through the 12th house. And 12th house is also the house of investments. Like if you want to see what kind of investments that are good as per your chart, so 12th house is going to give us the answer. Okay. Last is the second house. Now this is the savings account. Savings simply mean where you are saving your money. Second house also represents the combined wealth of a native, and it includes the assets of your family members. Many a times, few individuals, they born and brought up into very wealthy families, and few times the people, they were not born in that sort of wealthy families. So second house also represents your drid karma. Drid means the fixed karma. So whatever the good and bad past life deeds which you have performed in your previous lives, so whatever the combined result that have created in this janma is also reflected specifically from the second house, because this is the house of your family. Okay, what kind of a family you belong to, your parents, whether you belong to some business family or whether it's a normal family, because it's not first of all in your hand to decide who is going to become my father or who is going to become my mother. So it's not in your hand, okay, because it's pre-decided. It's known as drid karma. Drid means the fixed karma, where the person or the human being have no capacity to decide who is going to become my father, mother, and even my siblings. So second house represents that wealth also. It's a combined wealth of the family. It may be your family is involved in some transportation business, IT business, or maybe astrology business. So that is seen through the second house. Okay. So these are the important houses. Now look here, we will study the variations of the planets. Okay. First of all, this is the key planet, as I told you, Venus. Anytime for Sagittarius people, Venus is forming connection with the second house lord, that is Saturn. This is considered as one of the biggest Laxmi yogas and the wealth giving yogas in your chart. Saturn and Venus conjunction. Now it's not necessary this conjunction is falling only in this particular house. It may be Saturn is going up there, or it may be Saturn and Venus are conjunct in this house, or it may be Saturn and Venus are conjunct up there. Okay. Now you see, first of all, I have written Saturn and Venus in 4 different houses. Now there are going to be the levels in this Laxmi yoga. Okay. What do I mean to say by the level of the Laxmi yoga? Anytime if the wealth giving combinations are formed in the money and wealth houses itself, this is considered as one of the best Laxmi or the wealth giving yogas in your horoscope. Second, anytime the conjunction is falling into the quadrant houses. Now these are the quadrant houses, 1st, 4th, 7th and 10th, because they are considered as a very strong. Then next is the trine houses. These are the trine houses, 5th and 9th, and then the other houses like Dushtana, 6th, 8th and 12th, or it may be 3rd house as well. Okay. So you see the level of the money and wealth. The person with Saturn and Venus in this house is going to receive totally different results as compared to person with Saturn and Venus in this house. Now here I'm not denying the fact like it's a Laxmi Yoga and it's not Laxmi Yoga. They both are capable enough to give wealth to this native at some point. But the strength of this Laxmi Yoga means wealth giving yoga, is far greater as compared to yogas formed into these houses. Okay. So Saturn and Venus, this is the first part. Secondly, look here, it's the planet Mars. Now suppose Mars is in conjunction with planet Saturn in your horoscope. Now you see what is happening. The second house Lord Saturn is actually going into the 12th house. Now what is 12th house? This is the house of your expenditure. So whatever your monthly, daily expenses, I told you it's seen through 12th house. And 12th house is also the house of investment. Now whenever in your horoscope, your savings lord planet Saturn is forming connection with the expense lord Mars, that too anywhere in the chart. It may be Saturn and Mars are conjunct up there. This combination particularly is not permitting you to save huge amount of money. Or I will tell you, this is not a savings oriented chart. Whenever planet Mars is forming connection with your wealth lord, it's actually going to be making it as a very good investment yoga. Similarly with Venus also. Suppose Mars and Venus are conjunct in your horoscope. Venus, I told you, it's the key planet. Venus is the key planet, I told you, because it's actually ruling your core house, it's ruling the 11th house. So this is the key planet. Now whenever planet Venus is forming connection with Mars, it's also going to be considered as an investment yoga, because anytime Mars energy in your horoscope is mixing with either Saturn or Venus, or it may be three planetary combination. Suppose Saturn, Venus and Mars are conjunct in this house. Three planetary conjunction. Now this is one of the greatest RajYogas. Here you are not only going to be earning money with the help of land, real estate and property. This combination can also take you into the field of speculation and speculative gains, gaining money through share market and the stock market at the same time. So you understand 11th, 12th and 2nd house and the variations in these houses, because these are the money and wealth houses, and these three planets, planet Saturn, planet Venus and Mars, these are the key planets for you people. And the number one thing before judging your money and wealth aspect, pay attention towards these three planets, where they are going or which planet they are sitting with, what are the yogas which are created by these planets. Okay. Next, let me come to the 5th, 7th and 9th house. Look here, this is the 5th house, 7th house and 9th house. Now 5th and 9th, first of all, these are the trine houses. Now these 5th, 7th and 9th house, they are actually acting as a supporting structure to the upper houses. Now what do I mean to say by supporting structure? These houses or the lords of these houses have the capacity to do Laxmi and wealth yoga activation in your horoscope. Now if you don't know what is a RajYoga activation or what is the wealth activation, you can watch my video over the how to activate RajYogas in Vedic astrology. Activation simply mean if you want to activate the significance of some graha or some planet or some house in your chart, so that is simply known as activation. Now activation can take place in two different or three different ways actually. First activation is connected with the house activation. 5th house is the house of children or childbirth. 7th house is the house of your marriage and the married life aspect. And 9th house is the house of long distance travel and long distance journey. So anytime Sagittarius people, you are getting married, so 7th house is activated, it means Mercury is activated. Anytime you are taking long distance travel and journey, your 9th house, this is the house of your bhagya, fortune or luck factor. It means you are attracting many lucky moments into your life. 9th house is activated. anytime childbirth is born, 5th house, planet Mars is becoming activated. So these are actually responsible for activation of RajYogas. Now look here, anytime these upper houses, 11th, 12th and 2nd house, if they are forming any connection with these lower houses, this is also considered as one of the greatest Laxmi yogas for you people. For example, Mars is forming connection with Venus. Now this combination Mars and Venus anywhere in the chart, it's not necessarily only Mars and Venus is forming in this house. It may be any other house also. Mars and Venus conjunction can form into this house. Anytime 5th house Lord forming connection with Venus or even Mars or even Saturn, it's going to be creating certain influence in the upper houses RajYogas. Similarly, Mercury is forming connection with the planet Saturn or it may be Venus. Sun is forming connection with Saturn. They all are wealth giving combinations in your horoscope. Now the main thing is you need to look first of all in whichever houses these planetary combinations are forming. Also, it's not necessary the RajYogas or the wealth yogas are only formed by planetary combinations. They are actually formed by the mutual aspect between two grahas also, but that yoga is very less, whereas the yogas created by conjunction is actually very powerful. Although this Mercury, Saturn, Venus conjunction in the sign of Gemini in the 7th house, this have the capacity to actually spoil your complete interpersonal relationship between you and your wife. This is the house of your marriage and married life aspect. And this conjunction is a very promiscuous kind of a personality. So this have the capacity to create problems in your married and married life aspect. But this yoga is a blessings from the wealth perspective to this native. The reason I'm more concerned and focused only over the money and wealth area, because here we are not taking other aspects into our consideration. We are not taking whether there are certain sufferings coming from your family. You are suffering because of relationship aspect between you and your partner is not good. Certain sufferings are coming because of your kids also. We are not taking that part into our consideration. Here we are just judging the money and wealth part. So anytime these houses are forming connection with the upper houses or any exchange happening between these houses, this have the capacity to create or form RajYogas into your life. Similarly, depending over the house placement, the significance can also get activated. Like you see Sun and Saturn are up there, and suppose you people are taking some long distance travel and the long distance journey. It means you are going to be meeting with someone or with some government or with some political authority that have the capacity to help you in solving the disputes which are connected with the Saturn also. This is also very deadly conjunction, Sun and Saturn, specifically for Sagittarius people. They have the capacity 100% to create legal disputes into your life, but still this conjunction have the capability or capacity to give you wealth. Sagittarius is also one of these special ascendants in Vedic astrology. Sagittarius and even Pisces, okay, if you are ruled by Jupiter in the Lagna, you are a special people. The reason why you are special people, because there are many planets that are capable enough to create RajYogas into your life. Your Venus, Mars, Saturn, Sun, even Mercury, 5 planets are capable enough to create certain RajYogas. Whereas if you look into some other ascendant, maybe look into Scorpio ascendant, so there is not going to be 5 planets ruling these houses, or if they are ruling, they are going to be the same houses actually, just like planet Mars and Mars. Both of these houses are ruled by planet Mars, okay. So Mars is also the important, whereas Venus is also one of the important planets. So this is that. Next, let's try to understand the importance of Rahu and Ketu axis in RajYoga or in the Laxmi and wealth giving yoga. First of all, anytime Rahu and Ketu axis are involved with the money and wealth houses, these planets are actually acting as a catalyst. Now, what is a catalyst? If you are a chemistry student, you will simply understand catalyst is a substance that have the capacity to speed up the chemical reaction. So suppose person with Saturn Venus or Saturn Venus and Rahu in the chart, what is happening if I am adding Rahu up there? Now Rahu is speeding up the chemical reaction. By mean to say speeding up, Saturn Venus, suppose it's a wealth yoga which have the capability to go up to 1 million. As soon as you enter, or like Rahu is entering, this 1 million is actually becoming 100 million. So this is a boost. This is like adding catalyst inside these planetary combination. Similarly with the planet Ketu as well. Saturn, Mars and Ketu. Suppose Ketu is in conjunction, and it's not necessary I'm writing here 2-3 planetary combinations. It may be you are having Venus and Ketu conjunction in the horoscope. Now this Venus, I told you, it's your incoming gain lord actually. Now it's forming connection with the Ketu. Venus Ketu have the capability and capacity to bring wealth, but you are going to be losing something in order for you to gain something. It may be with Venus and Ketu there is going to be a very long lasting dissatisfaction that you are going to be experiencing because of your marriage and the married life aspect. But Venus Ketu, if it is present in your chart, this have the capacity to give you immense wealth which is beyond your imagination. Or it may be any other planet. It may be Mars, Venus and Ketu are conjunct up there. It may be Saturn and Rahu are conjunct up there. Saturn and Rahu is also a wealth yoga for you people. Although with Saturn and Rahu, this is that kind of a conjunction which you can only find in a millionaire's chart actually. Because if Saturn is in conjunction with Rahu in the D1 chart, you are destined to receive wealth. Destined actually, it's in your destiny. But initially you need to go through a lot of adversity because this conjunction is now falling into the 6th house. 6th house, if it is conjunction is falling, it means rising out of adversity. Whereas some people, if you are having Saturn and Rahu in this particular area, in the sign of Virgo, this Saturn and Rahu and this Saturn and Rahu, they both are totally different levels. This is rising out of adversity because 6th house is the adverse house. Now this is the 10th house. Your reputation might going to be suffering. Like you might be receiving some negative comments based over your deeds or the karmas which you have performed, but still you are going to be receiving fame and even wealth into your life. Okay. Next, let's try to understand the Gati of planets in Vedic astrology. Now, I have made one live session over the Gati of a Graha, which you can find in the live section. Now, first of all, Gati simply means the speed of a planet. In Vedic astrology, there are certain fast moving planets and there are certain slow moving planets. Okay, like for example, planet Jupiter, Rahu and Ketu axis, and planet Saturn. These are the slow moving graha or slow moving planets. Every other planet, whether it's Moon, Mars, Mercury, Sun, they are very fast moving as compared to these planets. Now Jupiter will take approximately 1 year to cross one zodiac sign. Rahu and Ketu will take approximately 1.5 years and Saturn will take approximately 3 years to cross one zodiac sign. If for example your Saturn is posited in this house, so Saturn will take 3 years to cross the sign of Sagittarius. Okay. Whereas if Moon is present up there at the time of your birth, so Moon is only taking 2.5 to 3 days to cross. So Moon is a very fast moving graha. whereas these planets are the slow moving graha. Now how to apply the concept of gati into the money and wealth part? Look here. Let me bring back to you the original houses and the original placements of the planets, and we will discuss that part. Now look here, these money and wealth houses, 11th house, 12th and this second house. Now Venus, I told you it's a fast moving planet. Venus will take 2 months, 3 months approximately. Mars will also take 2-3 months. But Saturn is a slow moving graha. This will take 3 years. Now understand one thing. For you Sagittarius people, your incoming gain lord is Venus. It means the money making opportunities in your life are actually going to be coming on the much faster manner as compared to the speed of the savings. Your saving speed will automatically going to be slowed down because of the Saturn presence up there. For different ascendant, it's actually going to be producing different result. Maybe if some other ascendant is going to be having some different planet ruling or posited in the saving house, results are going to be totally different. But for you people, your incoming gain lord is Venus. It means first of all, you have the capability to make easy money or quick money into your life. And anytime Venus and Mars are forming conjunction in your horoscope, because Mars is also a very fast moving graha. And if Mars is controlling your 12th house of expenditure, it means your expenses are also going to be very fast. Your incoming gain is fast and expense is also fast, but saving speed is very slow because it's ruled by planet Saturn. Now, for example, Venus is forming connection with Rahu. Now what is happening? Rahu, I told you, it's a slow moving planet. Venus is a fast moving planet. So when the fast moving planet is forming connection with the slow moving planet, this have the capacity to create the impact over the speed of the native for making money. Similarly, if your Mars is forming connection with the Saturn, now Saturn is a slow moving graha. So this have the capacity to slow down, totally slow down your expense speed. Suppose your Mars is posited all alone, or if Mars is forming connection with Venus or any other fast moving graha, it means expenses are very fast. You people will not be able to save money. Whereas as soon as any slow moving planet is entering inside your life, that have the capacity to create alteration into the results. And you can see these results into your earning, expense, investment, and even the rate of your savings. Okay, so this is one of the important things, gati of planets. Next, let's try to understand a retrograde energy. Now, what is retrograde? First of all, I will give you explanation. Although I made one separate playlist over the retrograde, but still I will help you in very simplest explanation what is retrograde. Retrograde planets simply mean committing same kind of a mistakes again and again and again into your life. For example, suppose you commit one financial mistake in the year 2015 and once again in the 2025 you are committing the same financial mistake. So retrograde simply mean commitment of similar kind of a mistakes again and again and again. This is just like a loop. Loop mean a circle where you are continuously revolving around similar kind of a circumstances again and again. It's a back and forth motion or back and forth karma. The person who is having even one retrograde planet in his or her horoscope, what is happening? These retrograde planets, they want to seek perfection actually. Because the main aim of retrogression is to take you towards perfection. So these planets, retrograde planets, they will try their hard for attaining perfection. Now, perfection is not coming very easily. Perfection will come over repetition or over many failures actually. Suppose I will give you one example here. Look here, it's a Venus posited up there. And suppose in one person chart, the Venus is just simple Venus, like no retrograde. Whereas if I put Saturn also, now for example, this is the conjunction Saturn and Venus retrograde, Venus and Saturn retrograde. One person is having, suppose, Venus and Saturn, and the second person is having Venus with retrograde Saturn. So what is the difference between these two people? The person with normal Saturn and Venus require 5 failures to achieve something, whereas the person with Venus and retrograde Saturn require 20 failures to achieve the same amount of thing. So what is happening? It's becoming very time consuming and very frustrating, because you need to put extra efforts most of the time, all the time, because I told you these planets, they want to seek perfection. Until and unless you are not perfect at something, retrograde energies, they are not going to leave you. And only one of the practical solutions for these retrograde graha is actually obtaining knowledge. You need to gain knowledge. Without knowledge, it becomes very difficult for you to defeat the retrograde graha, because retrograde grahas are also holding, graha mean planet. Retrograde planets are also holding certain amount of karmas into your life. It also depends over the maturity age of the planet. Suppose you are having Saturn and Venus, like I told you, Saturn is retrograde here. Now it means Saturn first of all matured at the age of 36. Every planet in Vedic astrology have certain maturity ages that are predefined. Like Mars matured at 28, Mercury 32, Saturn 36, Rahu 42, Ketu 48, Moon 24, Venus 25, Jupiter 16, Sun at the age of 21. So these are the certain maturity ages of planets. Until and unless planet is not fully matured, you will eventually going to be receiving the negative impact of these retrograde grahas into your life. Like you need to commit mistakes again and again and again. And it's not a bad thing actually. If some planet is retrograde in your horoscope, it means you are going to be becoming 100% perfect in that particular area in your life. And perfection is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Okay. Next, let's try to understand the combust planets. Now, suppose you are having, I will put some conjunction up there, because planets are getting combust when they are very close proximity with the planet Sun actually. Now suppose you are having Venus and Mercury conjunction and your Venus is combust. I'm using this pointed arrow to represent it's a combust. Star I'm using for retrograde. Okay. Now for example, suppose you are having Venus and Mercury conjunction in the horoscope and Venus is becoming combust. I'm taking this planet, most important house planet. 11th house is the incoming gain. It's your earning potential. It's your income sources. Okay. Now, if Venus is combust in your horoscope, anywhere in the chart, not necessarily in this house, anywhere in the chart, first of all, combustion of the planet is not going to be creating any impact over your earning potential. Because simply understand one core concept here, combustion is not going to be creating any negative impact over the earning, even saving, and even the expense of any native or any astrological horoscope. Because whenever any planet is combust in your horoscope, that planet is not going to be first of all losing its significance. Significance of that graha is still protected. It's not like that if Venus is combust in the horoscope, so Venus is going to be losing its significance or changing its significance. It's not happening. If Venus is the karka of wealth, relationship, marriage, married life aspect, so this will remain the planet of all these areas. Its karak tattvas are not getting destroyed. Keep that point in your mind. Karak tattva means the significance of the planet is not getting destroyed. The only factor which you need to consider with the combust graha, whenever any planet is combust in the sky, specifically benefics like Jupiter and Venus, in our Hindu tradition, in our Vedic tradition, we don't perform any auspicious ceremonies. Auspicious ceremony like marriage, any children celebration, retirement function, any celebrations, we don't perform actually. Even at the time of Muhurta, Muhurta means suppose we did the matchmaking, we decided, okay, this is a very good chart, now you can proceed ahead with the marriage. The next thing is the timings. Like what are the suitable time frame for me to actually get married? So that is actually depending over the Muhurta. Muhurta mean any auspicious day or auspicious date. Now at the time of deciding the auspicious Muhurta, these benefic grahas, if they are combust in the sky, we are not performing any auspicious ceremonies. Because these planets, these auspicious grahas, they are sending some positive rays in this planet Earth. So if they are getting combust, these positive and auspiciousness is not coming. And that is also the reason where you see people that are involved in making money through some unfair mean actually. Unfair mean through some illegal activities. It's because of the combust graha. Because combust graha, I will tell you, it's losing its auspiciousness. But it's not creating the negative impact over your earning potential. It's just losing its auspicious qualities. So here the person will not be able to differentiate between making money through fair or unfair means. That is the thing that you need to keep into your mind. Okay. Next is the timings part. Now timings is very important. I made one video actually how astrologers predict in Vedic astrology. In timing, you need to pay attention towards Antardasha, Antardasha lot. Now what is Antardasha? I hope you are familiar with the Vimshotri Mahadasha. Vimshotri Mahadasha simply mean the planetary timings actually. It may be right now you are going through a 16 years long period of Jupiter Mahadasha. Suppose a normal lifespan of a person is between 0 to 80 years of age. So in between that 0 to 80, you will go through multiple set of dashas actually. It may be 17 years of this planet, 16 years of Jupiter, 18 years of Rahu, 19 years of Saturn, okay. So these are Mahadashas. In between that main Mahadashas, there are Antardashas, which are known as the sub-periods, okay. Antardasha is the sub-period. Suppose there is a 16 years long period of Jupiter and the sub-period, Antardasha is of Saturn. Now, anytime Antardasha Lord is in the transit, forming connection plus transit. I will give you one example, don't worry. For example, suppose you are going through Mars Antardasha, Jupiter Mahadasha or Mars Antardasha. Sub-period is of Mars, for example. Now, anytime Mars in the Gochar or in the transit is actually coming over the natal Mars, over the same Mars, over the sign of Sagittarius, it's getting superimposed. So this is the timings actually. These are the exact timing that is actually symbolizing there is going to be some big opportunity for money making that is coming into your way. It may be money making opportunities are coming from job sometime. So job change kind of a situations can also be seen. You can take any one other example. Suppose your Venus is posited in the sign of Gemini at the time of you were born in your natal chart in this house. Now, for example, in the Antardasha, Venus is running, and in the transit, in the Gochar, Venus is again coming and it's then transiting over the natal Venus. So whenever in the transit, the planet is transiting over the Antardasha Lord, this is going to create the activation, or this is actually going to be symbolizing the exact timing when you are going to be receiving money and wealth into your life. Similarly, with any other example, suppose your Saturn is posited in the sign of Virgo. Now Saturn will take approximately, I told you, 3 years in one zodiac sign. So this will take approximately 28 to 30 years. Okay, to come back to its original sign. Now anytime, suppose you are having Saturn in Virgo, anytime after 30 years, Saturn is coming and then transiting over this natal Saturn. This is the timings actually. This is the exact timing. Now if it is in the 10th house of career, changes are coming with the career. If it is forming connection with the 5th house, it means children are actually going to be playing an important role. If it is in the 7th house and the transit is coming over the 7th house, so event of marriage is going to be bringing some auspicious factor into your life. Because in our Vedic tradition system, we are not judging or not using the money and wealth for just liquid currency. There are total 8 forms of goddess of wealth in our tradition. Okay, 8 forms of wealth. That is the forms of Ma Mahalakshmi. Ma Mahalakshmi is the goddess of wealth actually. So there are total 8 forms. Dhan Lakshmi, that is the money. Then Vidya Lakshmi, that is knowledge. Knowledge is also considered as a form of wealth for a native. Because if you are having knowledge, it means you have the capacity to gain wealth. Next is the Santan Lakshmi. Santan means children actually. Veera Lakshmi, Aishwarya Lakshmi, Gaj Lakshmi. So there are total 8 forms of wealth in our Hindu tradition. So even if you are having children, they are also going to be considered as the greatest source of wealth into your life. If you are having knowledge present within you, it's also the greatest source of wealth into your life. So in this way, you need to judge and check the money and wealth analysis into your chart. So I hope you have gained some deep insights in this video with me. Now, if you require any consultations from my side regarding money and wealth analysis over your chart, you can please contact me at my email ID. If you required any other marriage, business, career, spiritual or any other consultations, so do let me know. Also, if you have gained some deep insights while watching this video, you can send me super thanks also, because any small contribution from your side will eventually help me to make more motivated to create more such content over the Vedic astrology. Also, if you want to suggest some improvement in my teaching style, you can also mention below the comments. Or I would like to even personally thank you so much for the engagement in my YouTube channel. And thank you so much for actually giving me this platform, this love, this affection. Everything is possible because of you people, okay? You can also explore my money and wealth playlist series. I will link here. So in this way, you will be able to learn more about only the money and wealth part, because in the 21st century, many people are more concerned over the career and the money and wealth part. So you can go and please watch the playlist over the career and money and wealth. This will help you to gain more insights into the Vedic astrology. And I also request you to please share my YouTube channel with your friends and family members who are in love with Vedic astrology. You can also subscribe my channel below. Make sure to hit the like button if you really enjoyed this video. And I'm going to be meeting you very, very soon in the next video. So till then, please take care of yourself and may God bless you. Hare Krishna.